Welcome to JP SharePoint. This is the second lesson on workflows, specifically in Visual Studio 2013. Now, the last session that we started, we ended up with a write to history, a look up a list item, and get a dynamic property. Just to overview, that's what we did. And when we got the dynamic property, we wanted to get the actual created ID, and we put that into list properties. With that, we have that dynamic value as shown here. You got to click the sequence in order to find the values. It's shown here in list properties as a dynamic value. And just to refresh, we got that dynamic value from browse types and from Microsoft activities, and going to dynamic value. We've already got that, and that is in place. Let me get rid of that because we'll use that here shortly. So in order to see the variables, you have to click on the sequence type right up here. So, and then you can just select these variables, it'll drop down, and you'll be set. So, with this second lesson, what we want to do is do a task assignment and figure out a task outcome, and then show an if then else scenario. So my task list that I have is the one I had the last time, which basically is this one right here, this test list. In the test list, I have title and first name. And so back to Visual Studio, what I need to do is start the task. Well, on the left hand side you'll see the toolbox right here, and you'll see I got highlighted single task. Now if you didn't know that and you were up here on an item, you can just type in here single task, and you see it's right there. Make sure it's selected, and you would drag and drop just like that. Okay, and if you remember that these little exclamation points in blue and white, you'll see if I hover over it, it says value. You need a value there, it was not supplied. Okay, so we click on single task assignment, and we want to assign it right over here on the right hand side. So let me pull this over so you can see it a little better. And this elliptical right here, you select that. Now it's going to want a string. Well, we know that we made a variable right here of list author, right? And we're getting that variable through the dynamic list properties value. So that's what we want to put in there. Let's go back to our elliptical, our assign to, and we can put here, and this is, you start typing, and there's our list author. Click that, say OK. You'll see the thing goes away. And now what we want to do is we want to actually configure. So we select configure. Now this is the configuration of the email that's going to the task person. So this list author is a dynamic value that we retained through getting the list property. So that's actually the created by. So this is the task title. We can change that if you want. Task title, we can say something like custom, and then hello. I'll just put that in string. And then as we scroll down here, this is different than it was before. So you see wait for task completion. You want that selected. Now most people don't do this overdue, but you could do it if you needed to do it. I'm going to deselect that. And you'll see that on the options outcome, it's a 2013 task outcome approved. I'm going to select OK here. That's all we need. And the OK button is off of your screen, Sorry about that. So that's the outcome there. So I'm going to push save. All right. Now just to prove that we have now a task assigned to list author, let's go ahead and deploy this. Right click and say deploy. It's going to do its check and its compilation. Build started over here on the left hand side, and usually doesn't take too long. When you get this here, every time you make a new history list, a new task list, it's going to overwrite these ones that are there, and you know, when you're doing this, creating that, you want to go ahead and hit resolve. Okay. So I'm activating features. I'm going to go, it's deployed successful. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my other screen, which is my task list. Okay. And I've selected a simple task list here. And I'm going to go to new item. And let's create a title of my name. And put Joe. And click save. Okay. Not much happening there, but as you see, we'll go ahead and click the elliptical, and we'll click workflows, and workflows right here. We'll see our workflow is right here. The workflow is started, its internal status is started, and it's waiting for something. Obviously, it's waiting for that email that for everybody to, or the approver to respond to. Okay, so how you get there, if you don't know, is you can go to, I don't have the lists showing here, so I go to lists, and here's those two lists that we were talking about. All right, that's the task list, the one that we just entered, and this is the workflow task list. Okay, so this will be where the task is. We click here, there's your custom workflow. You click that, you're going to get this page right here, and there's the hello description that we put in, and here you can click edit item on the top left, and edit item, we'll just go ahead, you can approve this or reject it. We'll hit approved. There you go. Now if we want to look at the history, we go back to site contents, we'll scroll down and go to the history of that item, and you can see that it's right here. Scroll over. Description, workflow started. We wrote that out. Then we go to the test list. And click the elliptical and look at workflows. You'll see it's completed right here. You click on that, and you'll see here the history and the outcome. There's my name. There's completed. There's approved on the task status right here. This is the completed, approved. Same would work for the rejected. I mean, this would be rejected, completed, and rejected. So now we've proven that the task is being assigned. It has sent an email out, and the email gets the same thing, and they go ahead and click on that and approve it or reject it the same way. So, alright, so that has been tested out. So we're like, well, what do you do now? I mean, you know, there's some sort of, in the workflow, you want to go ahead and do maybe an if or else, because you want two different, you want a rejected side and you want an approved side. So, with that being said, we'll go up to our toolbox and we'll put maybe an if in there. Ah, look at that. That's awesome. And I don't have to go through all that information. So I just drag it over here and drop it. That's simple. Okay, so you're like, well, alright, now what? So in the variables, you'll see that now we have an outcome. This outcome is an int 32. And that outcome is what we need to go ahead and do a condition on. So we can go ahead and do outcome. It should be right there. There it is. And we'll do equals 0. because 0 is true, 1 is rejected. So I just know that, and now you know that. So I'm going to click this down here, and you'll see that our error has gone away. So what? Now you have if then else. Well, to get something to happen in the then, what we could do is we need a sequence box. Again, we're going to do more than one thing in here. So we get a sequence, and say in a sequence we want to, again, I'm working a little faster now. We're going to go right to history. Right to history. Now, anytime you want to do one block, whether it's right to history or whatever, you don't need a sequence. But when you're doing multiples, you need a sequence. So it could be this simple. We could just go in here and go to our elliptical, and let's do a message. Okay. In here we could type. Not sure why it doesn't focus to the far left. We can do task approved. Right? And in the else, we could actually just go ahead and just do one right to history here. We can click that in and go to our string builder and type in here task rejected and hit OK. We have no errors. We use the outcome. Okay, so there is one thing we need to check, and if you go to your the if statement, actually, no, we've already done that, so it should be good. Yeah, this right here, this condition. So let's see if we got everything working correctly. So you see I have an if, then else. As long as the outcome is 0, it's going to go to approved. If anything else, it's going to do rejected. Okay, so we'll right click this, we'll deploy, we'll let it build. Now if there were errors, they would show it on the bottom screen right here. The errors would pop up, and you would be able to figure out what you were doing. Again, we'll select resolve. I'm rewriting over that history list, and we'll see what happens here. I'll switch over to deploy successful, switch over to SharePoint 2013, and we'll go to a task. We'll say new, and we'll say, okay, how about my name is, let's do something else, my spouse is Michelle. Okay, hit save. Again, you don't see anything because I'm not showing any of the columns, but you could show the columns by going to the list and modifying it and actually showing the columns to the right here if you wanted to for testing purposes. So I'm going to go to site contents, and I'm going to look at the task here. The workflow is here. So we have the task. The task list is just the task list. We have the workflows that we wrote over, so there's only one task in it. So let's go to here, and you'll see that there's a custom task. We're going to write this out. The task, we're going to say approved. It's going to say approved. So if we go to actually back to task list and click on my spouse and workflows, we'll see the task is completed. And you'll see right here the completed, the task outcome, and now we have a new entry, task approved. Now the same thing would go for if we actually rejected the task. So now we have that history, the task was started, the task was approved. So if you go back to the task list and do the same thing, for a new task. Say my child, Jamie. And let's say Jamie is not going to get approved. So I'm just going to jump over here and jump down to the actual task. And click on the task. You see it kind of marks over that. Custom task. We click on the custom task. Again, this would happen in the email for the customers that actually they can come here and do their thing. So again, it's the same workflow. I'm going to hit rejected, right? And so I'm going to come back to I meant to go here. Let's go back to the history list, and you'll see right here. I like to go to the other view because I don't like looking at all that. So I usually go to right here in workflows, and then hit complete, and I can see the specific. And you'll see everything is the same except for now it's going down the tree and going down to task rejected. And that's because of this right here, this workflow, that a single task has been assigned. It's assigned to the list author, and then if the outcome equals 0, it follows this sequence, and 0 is approved and 1 is rejected. That being said, I think that we've covered our assignments for this workflow lesson 2. You'll find that these are very informative. This is JP SharePoint. Thank you.